So, in 7th grade, all the girls with Clay Davis on account of his extraordinary eyebrows. He had blonde hair and then dark, romantic eyebrows that framed eyes that were as blue as the Caribbean. And if you looked in them, you'd drown. I didn't look. I was new in town. I was new in school. I was new in a school that had boys. I didn't understand what the girls on the playground were talking about. In my spare time, I walked in the woods and studied salamanders. In fact, at that point in my life, everything I knew about sex I had learned from salamanders. But it was okay, because it turned out in 7th grade the boys and the girls never had much to do with each other, except Wednesday nights, when every mother drove her son or daughter to the school for Mr. Richards' dancing class. It was always the same. In the gymnasium, the boys were sitting on folding chairs down one side and the girls down the other. In the far end, the deadpan piano player. And in the middle, Mr. Richards himself, suave in black with twinkling patent leather shoes. He'd choose a girl to help demonstrate the steps. He never picked me. In fact, he usually picked Judy Mason, which was weird because she was only about half as high as he was. But he'd bend down and they'd twinkle together. And then it was our turn. At a signal, the boys would rise up in a phalanx and walk straight across the gym. You had to ask the girl right opposite you. We all got partners, and we made the best of it. Well, January came, and the class mothers announced that we were going to have our very first Saturday evening social dance. And because it happened to be a leap year, it would be a Sadie Hawkins dance, and that meant that the girls asked the boys. Great. Huh. I didn't ask anybody. I didn't have to go. I was calm when everybody else was chattering until this Tuesday before the Saturday of the dance, when suddenly, during recess, I was surrounded by a platoon of the most popular girls in the class. They said, "Hi! Hi. We hear you haven't invited anyone to the dance. We want you to invite Clay Davis. We think he likes you. Clay Davis has never said 2 words to me. That's why he likes you." I got it, you know. They hadn't dared to ask him. I was their last hope of getting him there. But I wanted them to like me. So I said yes. And that night, when I made the scariest phone call of my life, and I asked him, there was a long pause, and I could see those eyebrows knitting together. And then he said, "Yes, thank you. I'd like to go. My mother and I will pick you up at 7 o'clock. Saturday at 7, I was ready. I was wearing my new poodle skirt. You know, it was felt with the embroidered yarn poodles. And he helped me on with my coat. We got in his car. His mother talked all the way to the school. In the gym, some things were the same. The boys were still sitting on one side and the girls on the other. But there were balloons, and Mr. Richards wasn't there. And there was no piano player. There was a record player. We were going to have real music. Well, the first dance was a waltz, and you're supposed to dance with your date the first dance. So those blue eyes came across the gym at me, and we danced. Then we went back. The second dance was a tango. It's my favorite. And those blue eyes came across, and then they veered off, and he asked Judy Mason. And he did that a lot that night. They even won the Lindy Hop contest while I sat there combing the poodles on my skirt. And at the end, he helped me on with my coat. And we got into his car. And his mother said, "How was the dance?" "Wonderful, wonderful." When I got home and walked into the house, my mother said, "How was the dance?" "Wonderful." "Oh, I'm so relieved," she said. "You know, you're a good foot taller than Clay Davis, and when he was helping you on with your coat, I almost went and got him a stepladder." I didn't want to think about what we would look like on the dance floor. I didn't want to realize that Judy Mason was the only girl in 7th grade who was shorter than Clay Davis. I just wanted to hibernate like a salamander. Thank you.